Hi everybody. Today we're going to talk about MLA style. Particularly we're going to focus on what the MLA is and how to format your paper properly. So, MLA stands for Modern Language Association. It's an international body that deals mostly with academic works in the humanities, which is like English and history, philosophy, that kind of thing. And it sets rules and regulations for academic papers from across the world, so that if an academic in Australia writes a paper, it will be the exact same format as if an academic in Canada writes a paper, or in the United States, or wherever. It doesn't matter where you're from. If you're writing in the humanities, you're following these rules and regulations so that anyone can read a paper from anywhere and won't have to wonder where to find things. So, let's talk about how to set up the paper. First, we want to make sure we have 1-inch margins on all sides. So you can go to File and then Page Setup and just check and make sure that you have 1-inch margins. Then we want the font to be Times New Roman and size 12. And then we want to make sure that the whole paper is double spaced. So you go up and you double space it. Again, before you're touching anything, before you're typing anything, you double space it. And then we want to make sure it's left justified. So let's talk about where to find these things. So I'm going to show you a blank document. Here we go. And like I said, we go to File, Page Setup, and we've already got 1-inch margins on all sides. That should be the default setting, but you just want to check and make sure it's correct. Then, now my document here started off in Arial. I want to change that to Times New Roman. And it started off in 11-point font. I want to change that to 12-point font. Then I want to double space. So I go up here to those arrows pointing up and down, and I hit double. So now I'm double spaced. And then here's where you can find the justify. We're already in left justify, which is what we want. The other options are center, right justify, and justify on both sides. We don't want those things. In MLA, you align everything to the left. So left justify. And we've checked all these boxes. Okay, next, we need a heading. So an MLA style heading follows the following format. Starts off with your name, then your teacher or your professor's name, then the name of the class, and then the date in the European style. So let's make an MLA style heading. So let's say our student's name is Paul and his last name just happens to be Student. And then our teacher is Miss Professor. So we have the student's name, the professor's name, then the class name. Let's call it English 101. And then finally you have the date, probably the due date, but this time we do in the European style. So we would do, say, 14 December 2022. So instead of December 14th, 2022, they do 14 December 2022. And now we have an MLA heading. And the last thing we need to do before we can start typing the rest of our paper is adding page numbers. So, to add page numbers, you go to Format, Page Numbers. It'll have number, page numbers. Then you hit Apply. On the first page, we want to add our name before the page number. So it should have your last name and then the page number on the top of the page. And then we want to make sure that the page number is in the same font that the rest of our paper will be in so that it's consistent. And once you do that, on the first page, every page after that will automatically add so that we don't have to worry about it after we do it on the first one. So let's do that. So we go to Format, Page Numbers. We want it in the header, which means the top. we want to show it on the first page. If we had a title page, then we wouldn't want to show it on the first page, but we don't. We just have a heading, and we want to start at page 1. So we hit apply. Now, it added a page number. But notice it added it in font Arial size 11, which is not what we're doing. So we're going to go put the cursor before the number. We're going to add the last name of the student. But then we're going to highlight the whole thing, change it to Times New Roman, font size 12, and there we go. And every page after that will automatically add this with the next number to the paper. Now, when we're ready to do the title, we would just go one more space down. You don't need to go any more spaces. And then we center it, add the title. And then to begin the paper, we go one more space down. We don't need to go any more spaces down. We go back to left justify, indent, and begin typing. So everything in MLA is consistent. Everything is consistently one space, even the title and the beginning of the paper. There's no need for extra spaces between paragraphs. There's no need for extra spaces between the title and the beginning of the paper. None of that. We don't need it. Everything is consistent in MLA, one space. Once we talk about the works cited page, that's the same. But we're not there yet. But don't forget, you want to indent the first paragraph. And that's how you format an MLA paper. And you're ready to start writing the actual paper itself. And everything should follow nice and consistently because we've got it all set up already. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video. Lindemann out.